Wellness and reaching your ideal weight is not about control. It's about connection. Peace and self-acceptance come from working with our body and our unique blueprint, not against it. There's so many body types. I mean, put that aside and just go, how can I come to peace with my body type? Owning our story and loving ourselves through the process is the bravest thing we will ever do. Just know that you are not broken and your body is not the enemy. Wellness and reaching your ideal weight is not about control. It's about connection. And today I'm going to be sharing something unique with you. It's based on Ken Wilber's philosophy for transformation, which involves 4 quadrants. And when I read this, I immediately started to relate it to how I work with clients. My name is Ariel. I am an integrative and functional dietitian. I have been working with clients one-on-one for over 20 years. And my integrative approach is not just about using natural supplements and whole foods, but it's also about integrating the whole person when I work with them. If we don't start there, then the transformation is not going to be permanent. So I do have notes here, actually getting the value out of it. You will also take notes because what I'm about to share with you is extremely powerful. Your roadmap for truly transforming your health, your weight, your wellness for the rest of your life, and also modeling for your children or your family or your connections, a new way of thinking and a new way of doing it. So the 4 quadrants of transformation, we're going to start with quadrant 1. And I'm also going to be using some Brené Brown quotes because I absolutely love Brené Brown. She's amazing. And I see how much her work also complements what I do. So quadrant 1 is your inner world. This is your identity, your beliefs, and your self-concept. So Brené Brown says, owning our story and loving ourselves through the process is the bravest thing we will ever do. This really means owning your story. What is your story about your body, your weight, your health, etc., and your unique body blueprint? So how do you feel about your body? Do you have shame around the body or the blueprint you were given, or do you feel sovereignty around it? Owning our story starts with acceptance, no matter where we are. It's saying, okay, this is the body that I chose to come into this life with, and weight restriction and struggle is not failure, it's just reflection. It's a starting point. So the first thing we need to do is look at, you have a unique body type. We all do. We have genetics, which set the stage. It's our blueprint, but our habits and agency will shape that expression. So ultimately, peace and self-acceptance come from working with our body and our unique blueprint, not against it. This means shifting our identity from one of feeling shame or like we're broken or something is wrong with us or we always have to struggle or my metabolism is slow, to that I am sovereign, I am radiant, and I am whole. Because our beliefs will shape our biology. Your thoughts and your expectations influence your hormones, your gene expression, and your metabolism. So yes, those genetics are a blueprint, but then the emotions, the frequency, the energy behind that, which is how we feel and how we're relating to ourselves, directly impact the expression of those genes and how they do end up shaping our reality and our process. So that means moving away from shame and comparison and owning your story to dissolve comparison traps. Because if all you do is really just kind of ignore, there's so many body types. I mean, put that aside and just go, how can I come to peace with my body type and then become the most vibrant expression of myself? So there are cultural pressures, but that's where we kind of have to start rejecting this myth and moving away from this idea that women constantly have to shrink themselves to be feminine or worthy. And on a deeper level, if we are ever going to shift this disordered eating disorders and this cultural obsession with this female body that looks like a 10-year-old boy, then it starts with us modeling something different for our daughters. From a spiritual aspect, our body is electric, it's light-filled, it's designed to radiate, where we are actually going to find our truth, our connection, and our freedom when we start to accept that and embody that. Quadrant 2 is the outer world. This is our behaviors, our habits, our systems, and what we choose to engage in order to achieve this said goal, right? So Brene Brown says we can choose courage or we can choose comfort, but we cannot have both. So the core theme here is courageous, consistent habits reconnect biology to freedom. So it's about focusing on the process, not the outcome. The outcome is fine. For instance, scale weight is an outcome. Fitting a certain size is an outcome. When we focus only on the outcome, we miss the entire process, and the process is where we learn the most about ourselves, where we build self-trust, where we build agency, where we feel like we have the ability to accomplish anything when we follow through with our goals, when we have radical self-responsibility and self-discipline. But that self-responsibility and self-discipline is not from a place of fear and self-loathing. It's a place from love and compassion that's balanced and made of whole foods, and we've taken time to cook, and we're eating mindfully, and we're honoring like this beautiful food in front of us with gratitude, and eating slowly and enjoying every bite, and stopping maybe when we're 80% full and then walking away and going for a walk. Or maybe it's going to the gym and lifting weights and getting uncomfortable and embracing that, because we know the next time we go, we're going to be stronger. It's about pushing ourselves in a loving way. What else am I capable of? And this is another reason why so many diets fail, not only because they don't look at all four quadrants, how to build meals and how to nourish themselves, and they're not even in a healthy eating pattern, and they're thrown right into this 1200 calorie diet or this Weight Watchers point system, and we wonder why diets fail. I mean, it's really not that complicated when we really strip back the layers. Kind of what I wanted to cover in quadrant 2 is the behaviors, the biology, and the habits. So another piece of that real quick I want to say is activity is essential. Hormones, longevity, and brain health. I was just thinking about this the other day because my daughter and I have a routine, and every single day she gets 30 minutes of exercise no matter what. But it's just a non-negotiable. Self-discipline coming from a place of self-care and self-love. Culture is going to sell comfort. They're going to sell quick fixes, but courage is expansive. Well, I've never run before. Maybe I want to run a marathon. Maybe I want to see what my body is capable of. It's really about challenging ourselves and our bodies to see what we're capable of. And then the outcome of that is our unique expression of our most beautiful, vibrant self. Quadrant 3 is the relational world. This is connection and belonging. Connection is why we are here. Shame isolates, but connection liberates. Diet culture creates isolation because when women start binging, or they feel shame around food, or they feel like they have to hide food, or they're in this erratic pattern with eating, that isolates us. You know, shame silences us. Belonging versus fitting in. Fit into this box and this mold that society has decided that is the ideal woman or whatever that is, versus belonging from being fully seen and being the fullest expression of ourselves. And then there's relational nourishment, right? Food is communion. Meals connect us. They connect us to life and energy and culture. And I was on a walk with my neighbor the other morning, and she was telling me how sad, and they're both from Jamaica, and she brought Jamaican food, and her friend was like, well, I can't eat it because I'm on Ozempic and it's not on my diet and I don't have any appetite. How disconnected we have become. And there's a quick story I have for you here, because there's an amazing book called The End of Craving, Why We Have So Much Obesity in the States Compared to Other Countries. And one piece of the book he talked about was when he went to Bologna, Italy, where the obesity rate there is 8%, tiny amount of obesity, but they eat the richest diet in the world. This is where we have like eggplant parmesan, lasagna, very, very heavy, rich meals. So you're sitting here going, okay, so in America, it's like, oh, God forbid, I eat half as many calories as we do in America, but they spend twice as long eating. They get up from the table and they move on with their lives, and food is a part of that connection. And we've really lost that in this country. For sure, we're going to continue losing that if we keep treating and medicalizing weight loss as a drug you inject or a pill that completely disconnects you from your body and inhibits your natural appetite, but that's another story for another day. Quadrant 4 is the spiritual world, meaning, wholeness, and freedom. So Brene Brown says we are hardwired for connection, curiosity, and meaning. So health is spiritual liberation, meaning becoming whole. Food is energy and medicine. It is communication and information for our cells. They say food cells become you cells. I love that quote. I mean, there really is like food as medicine. There are medicinal properties of food that we have completely lost touch with, but a lot of indigenous cultures still practice. It's also about moving out of that survival state to that thrive state, because your physiology will mirror your inner stance. So you want thriving creates coherence, meaning we're choosing agency and we're saying, okay, what can I do? What can I execute on? What do I have control over? And let me start with accepting where I am right now, understanding my story, all 4 levels, so I can actually transform for life. We all have an ideal weight, but the illusion of this, if I reach this certain scale weight, I will be happy with my body. And there is an attainable weight and there's a sustainable weight. We also have to decide that we are going to embody all the habits and behaviors that go along with maintaining that body. And then we have to reflect on, is this in alignment with who I am? Or does this require more effort than I'm willing to give? Is expectations versus reality and everything being sold as fast, easy, quick, no hunger, etc. Losing weight or becoming your healthiest, most vibrant self takes a lot of work, and it takes a ton of effort and consistency and discipline and intention and awareness, when the foundation is self-care and compassion and self-love and stepping into your most beautiful self. When we're in shame and struggle and comparison and we're trying to just shrink ourselves down. So you see, it's the energy behind the intention that paints the whole process. It really comes down to integrating science and spirit, and that's what I'm about. We are so much more complex than just this physical form, and when we start to recognize that and look at this as like, this is my opportunity to really grow and evolve on all levels, and so how can I start to reframe and embrace this process from a place of gratitude and self-care and self-love? Nobody else has your answer, and that is one of the reasons I was really inspired to start this channel. I am so tired of hearing people even call themselves experts on what you're supposed to do with how you eat and how you move and how you achieve your optimal health and wellness and weight, etc. There's a massive variety of approaches, and that approach depends on the individual. And this is why I'm not going to sell you a signature program where everybody gets these results if they follow my method, because I know that my method may not be your method. There are fundamentals and there are principles, but what we really have to do is find out what's going to work for you and find a process that you can fall in love with and continue for the rest of your life. Because again, there is no timeline to this process. And when we take that pressure off, it can become a really beautiful experience. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If anything resonated, or if you have been stuck in a cycle of control, shame, self-loathing, or chasing a number, just know that you are not broken and your body is not the enemy. And there is a different way to look at things, in a way that can really liberate you and set you free and finally get you out of that constant cycle of struggle.